now we're talking about channels then, let's talk about your journey, Dolly. Where did you start and what made you start? And how long, roughly, did you say your channel's been open now?
My youngest is nearly 5 in March. And I think I went on round about when he was born, really. So, yeah, it's something like nearly 5 years or something like that. So, when I was younger, just to go through the whole spiritual thing when I was younger, we used to live in the army and we used to live down south. And we were always in the barracks, which was countryside. So me and my sister were always in the forest, you know, obviously we didn't have phones then and all that. And we were always around nature. So I've always known there was something, as in that sort of stuff, energy-wise, because I'll get into that through this. Always known there was things we can't see, but just because we can't see them we've all got a sixth sense, but we're a bit dumbed down. We can't see them doesn't mean things aren't there. So I've always been a bit like that anyway, and hence why my channel's called Dolly, Daydream. She's got her head in the clouds. She's a Pisces and she's always off with fairies and all that, because that's the stuff I was into as a kid and still, you know. I used to talk about things, people like, oh, it's Janine. And Dolly, the name Dolly is a nickname because it's, oh, she's a dolly, isn't she? You know, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Like, she's a bit dippy, which I find quite cute. I don't see it as a, you know, I won't get triggered by it. But that's where the whole name Dolly Daydream came from, because she's got her head in the clouds and she's a bit of a daydreamer. So I was like, I like that name, I think it's cute. A few years before I had my son, it was all, when I used to watch TV, because I don't anymore, not watched it for about 8 years, it was a bit like, I don't understand where all this news is being put out of, like the wars and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, when I was younger, it was feed the world and people are dying in Africa. Well, we've got to feed the world, you know, what was it called? Band-Aid, and we've got children in need with a one eye, and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, so this has been going for years. We've got all these celebrities with loads of money, well, still people are starving, still people are dying, still there's wars. And I did get a bit like, maybe I should stop watching TV, because I get upset all the time, literally crying and thinking about my kid in his bed and he's safe and there's kids that aren't and all that sort of stuff. And I thought, I can't, because I do get dead emotional. And my mum used to say, you need to stop watching. So I thought, I'm going to have to stop watching the news. I'm just going to have to stop watching it. So I did. So I thought, obviously I felt a little better, because I thought, I'm not really knowing what's going on, but I just get too upset. So there was that. But I did go through that whole, like, I just don't understand why the world's the way it is. Then the relationship I was in at the time was a narcissistic relationship. So that was just another thing with not being able to do the things you love, being abused, like, verbally and physically. And then when that came to an end, not understanding again of, like, because I left my youngest son's dad when I was 5 weeks pregnant. And I was childminding at the time, so I had other kids to look after with a newborn baby. So I had to give that up. And when the kids went to school, and that's the first time I've not worked. But in that process of not working and looking after my little one, it was a bit like, I don't understand, like, why the world is the way it is today. When we're supposed to be evolving and growing, why there's people like these narcissistic people who just seem to be so angry at themselves, but they take it on you and want to ground you in the ground, because that's what narcissists do. And that's what happened to me, saying I wasn't worthy, I wasn't worthless, who would date you, this, that, you know, all that sort of stuff, grounding you down, because they're trying to elevate the self. Because if they know someone's under them, they feel better. Because at the beginning I wasn't, I was all like, and it was like, they see the light, don't they? Oh, that person's full of light, I think I'll suck their energy off them, because I feel cack about myself. So if I suck all their energy and they feel really bad, I'll feel a bit better.
Prop myself up.
Because it's all the ego. So when I actually woke up from that relationship, I thought, oh my God, like, I'm not this person that person's saying I am. Like, I think I'm just going to go on YouTube and just, like, prove to myself, because I knew I wasn't this person. But the time away from this person, it was me finding me again, because I didn't know who I was because of this relationship and because of society and the news. And I just thought, I don't know what I'm supposed to be thinking. Is it right what that person was saying about me? But deep down I knew it wasn't, because I do have friends and people do like me and I know the way I am and I do know myself. So I thought, if I went on YouTube, like, it wasn't like gratification. In a way it wasn't an ego thing. It was just like, would people get where I was coming from? And if I could pump out this positivity to people to know that they're worthy, because people make you feel unworthy. You know, and that's not just relationships, that's jobs. Could have a bully at work, you know, your boss, anything, whatever thing it is, but mine was a relationship. Could I project this out to show people, you know, I've been through stuff, but because everyone's been through trauma, and everyone will say, yeah, but mine's bigger than yours, and yours was a relationship, mine was a death, or mine. It's like, trauma's trauma, though, pain's the same. It doesn't matter if your dog's died, I know this might sound a bit awful, and your grandmother died. Some people say, yeah, well, that's what it is.
It's hard to equate anyway. I mean, we, as a social test now, we could have the exact same negative experience. But it doesn't mean to say we're going to experience it in the same way.
Yeah.
So you can't really have that competition. It's just, it's not good for the soul anyway, and ascension in a sense for anyone.
Yeah, so it was a bit like, you know, if I go on YouTube, and I wasn't into that, I'm going to go on YouTube and I'm going to have thousands and I'm going to be like a YouTuber making money. It wasn't about that, because I'm not even making money, I'm not even, what's it called?
Monetized.
Monetized. No, I don't want to be. It was just about getting the message out. And I thought, and if it's just one person, that's a domino effect. That could be one person tells one person, which one person is better than no one. So as I went on, I was building up, obviously, and people, and I've had people come in and go because of certain things I went into, like they do, because some people want you to stay in the whole thing, talking about the same thing all the time.
In their bubble, yeah.
But I can't do that, because I've always evolved into
question,
the next
move
thing.
on, question,
like
move on.
1 year after the other, it's like the next cycle. So to me, if you're just staying constantly, it gets boring anyway.
Well, it's like it stays stagnant.
It is.
It's almost like, if that was the case, if you was to treat it the same way as education, what they're doing, they're really still in primary school in terms of actually flourishing.
Yeah, they're not going up the levels, are they?
No, and I don't get it. You're still moving no matter where you're at. You could be 80 or 90 and still moving, so I don't feel I'm at the top.
And I think a lot of things I talk about the ascension, people say it's spiritual, that to me is like, it's moving up the levels of consciousness. You're down here, some
and realisation.
Yeah, and it's realising you and how you affect other people. And I've said to people, I'm not perfect. I'm just showing my journey, my hero's journey is being recorded on YouTube. And you can see from the beginning, because when I first went on, I was doing the whole, what am I supposed to be doing on YouTube? I'm supposed to be doing makeup tutorials like they all do. And I did do a few, but I didn't do a lot, because I thought, this isn't me, I don't know what
What was your first video?
Oh my God. I was sat there and it was a different setup, and I remember coming on and I was like, I don't know where I'm looking, because I was trying to look at the camera, but looking over there and I couldn't get it, and I was laughing at myself, because I thought, this is, oh my God. I think it was just about, I was just talking about me and my life, I think, I don't know, I can't remember, but most of them were, a few were makeup ones, a few were hair, because everyone, so I'm just pulling it up about, everyone say I've got different hair at the minute, I've always had different styles, but it was more, it's just getting caught me in now. It was, oh God, it was more, it was just random things, I think, different things, but it was always with a positive message. I went through a few nail things because I was doing a nail course at the time, but that all fell away because it didn't feel like
you were being you, my
authentic self. Like, I've never changed through YouTube, I've always been like this, but I was going through certain things, oh yeah, maybe this is what I want to do, and then it was like, I don't know, actually. And my mum was going, Janine, you're going on these courses, paying for them, and like, now you've decided you don't want to do it. And I was just like, it just doesn't feel like me now. It did at the time, but it's like I'm seeking and I'm trying to scratch the surface and thinking, oh, I can see a bit more.
But that's
now.
so natural.
See the bigger picture. Yeah.
That seems more natural than just staying 3 years later doing the same.
But I didn't want to stay in it because I hate saying followers, but people watching that would, you know, scared of, like, because I think some people do, ooh, if I go on to something else, they're all going to drop off. Well, if you're going to drop off, you're going to drop off.
It's what it is.
You know.
You can't, I've had that.
Yeah.
I mean, as you know, you've seen my journey over the past 2-3 years. I've had to almost reinvent myself in certain ways and literally follow my own soul and spirit with what I want to do.
I've had people say I'm racist, I'm this, I'm that, because I've moved and talked about something else. They want me to stay in that. Yeah, I can stay there for a bit and I'll move on. Like, I'm going to move on again this year, most likely. Just keep going. I think you're forever spiralling. But I've also had people from the beginning that are still with me now that haven't been on all of the chats, because obviously when I get into it in a bit, there's some things that some people are not into. But they've come in lately, especially when I'm doing my art and stuff, because they love that, and they've said, you are who you were at the beginning. I might have changed hair or
You can't say any more than that, can you? If someone comes in one of your comment sections and calls you...
And I asked them as well in front of
To me, I call it the big C word, Dolly. Consistent.
Yeah.
I've had one or two commenters, they've seen my journey, they've seen the good and the bad, and the really bad.
Yeah.
And then they've come back and said, if anything, Phil, I can thoroughly say that you've been consistent, whereas others around you who accused you of being the opposite, they're the ones that seem to be inconsistent with the starting point and where you are now and where they are now. I cannot thank people for at least seeing that, because that's how I see it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to kind of do post and scream to the world, I'm consistent. No, if one person gets it, then I'm sweet with that. And all you can do is be true to yourself. So if someone's interpreted it as that, then I'm buzzing.
I think the whole thing as well is, it's about being your true, authentic self.
Yes.
And a lot of people today are realising that, but there's a lot of people still stuck in their ego. And the ego is the biggest thing. And I don't think we're supposed to be getting rid of it. It's just coming into check. And you're checking it, and it needs to come into balance, because people are so in their ego today.
Well, let's talk about this for a bit then. Being on YouTube, egos on YouTube.
Oh my God.
In a sense that not any particular individual, but you've been through it. You can see the pitfalls of any YouTuber letting it go to his head or her head, and basically just living their own kind of power little rush through their channel. Could you speak a little bit into the pitfalls that YouTubers can fall into, and maybe the negative side of them doing it? I mean, what's your personal experiences on that?
Well, I know from coming at the beginning, you know, and I was really vulnerable, to tell the truth, because of what I went through and like certain stuff. Because I think some people would get the perception, because they don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And if you do go meeting other people, what goes on behind those scenes in real life, you know, YouTubers that go out, which I've been starting to do, they just think, oh, you sat there, you press a button, and, you know, I could do that. Because you get a lot of keyboard warriors who, you know, saying things because they're nicely sat behind, you know, on the keyboard, and they think they can say anything. But people don't realise there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and people do try to bring you down, and they can be really nasty, because they do want to remove you. They want you to get all... See, they could see me coming at the beginning, oh, she's quite... I don't mean frail, but she don't really know what she's doing. Maybe she's a bit... Oh, we'll go after her, because I found a lot of men. I've had it off a lot of men. It's not really been off a lot of women personally. I've had it off a lot of men. Have tried to come in and say certain things. And at the beginning, I did used to get quite triggered. And I'd go over and be like, blah, 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 you know, typing something back. And then I used to think, well, why have I just done that? Because now they've come back. And the minions have come back. And it's like the ping pong thing. And all it's doing is making me angry. But a lot of them know that, because that's what they want you to do.
That's the reason why they're doing it.
Because then I think in the end you're going to think, do you know what, it's not worth me being on here, because I'm getting all the crap, so I'm going to come off. They want you to come off. Personally, that's what I think. But I've learned, I still get triggered now and again, because I'm only human, and I said that the other day. People who think that you don't get triggered even if you don't, you know, act on it or say something, that, I mean, I just don't get all that, because you're just human, people do. And I said the other day, if you don't, you're lying. And even if, like, I don't mention a lot about that, but when I do, I've noticed the pattern of when I do say something, and I call it when I'm on one, and I do want to come out and just pull something up, or a comment, or a person, now and again, that's when they most come in to do a big, massive comment. Not when you're being all positive, because you think, oh yeah, she's positive. Oh, she's just said one thing today, you know, in months, and it's
so
like,
what you're saying
let's go
is,
after her.
Once you touch on a little bit of negative energy, it's like, right,
because I'm supposed to be vibing.
Yeah, this is my chips and curry. Let's eat. Let's swim in this pool
well,
for a bit.
I thought you were supposed to be high vibing, Dolly. It's like, I never said I was high vibing all the time. It's that I do have days where I wouldn't say I don't get down, but I do have days where I think, oh my God, I'm knackered today, or my kids have done me head in, or that's really naffed me off, that person. Or it's like, it's not that I don't think that. Some days I might have a quieter day, or a tired day, or I'm a bit peed off, but I snap myself out of it. I'm not one who lingers in it. But when I do want to say something, because I think it has to be said sometimes, because if things weren't being talked about, this is why we've got a problem in society today, they're holding on that little piece that you said.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but you're getting triggered now, so
Exactly.
what?
Because they're not looking at the overall message. They're basically waiting for you to slip up or just come
Yeah.
across in a certain way that they can then kind of use that as a wedge.